Imagine a beloved sport that's woven into the very fabric of a nation's identity, only to face a crossroads that could redefine its future forever. Welsh rugby, once the envy of the world, is teetering on the brink of a radical overhaul, and the stakes couldn't be higher. But here's where it gets controversial. What if cutting back on teams means sacrificing heritage for a shot at glory? Let's dive into the drama unfolding in Wales, where rugby bosses are grappling with changes that could reshape both men's and women's games. And trust me, this is the part most people miss: how these decisions might echo far beyond the pitch. First off, let's talk about the women's side of things, which has been flying under the radar amid all the men's hubbub. Originally, the Welsh Rugby Union, WRU, had big plans to pair professional men's teams with dedicated women's squads, each boasting around 40 locally nurtured players, and hefty financial backing. It painted a picture of growth and equality, especially after Wales women smashed records at the recent Rugby World Cup. But with those plans now scrapped, we're left wondering, will this pivot hinder the momentum for women's rugby in Wales? Currently, there's no fully professional women's team here, just grassroots leagues featuring squads like Brython Thunder and Gwalia Lightning, who compete in the cross-border Celtic Challenge. For beginners new to rugby, think of it like this. Grassroots leagues are the training ground where local talent hones skills in friendly, community-driven matches, building toward bigger dreams. The optimism that bubbled up from these proposals could quickly fizzle if investment dries up. What do you think? Should women's rugby get its own spotlight before we overhaul the men's setup? To understand why the WRU is pushing for change, we need to rewind to the golden era of Welsh rugby. Way back in 2003, when the game shifted to a regional model, teams like Cardiff, Dragons, Ospreys, Scarlets, and the short-lived Celtic Warriors lit up the scene. Wales men's national team racked up 4 Six Nations Grand Slams in just 14 years, made it to World Cup semis twice, and even claimed the top spot in global rankings. In 2013, a whopping 10 Welsh players suited up for the British and Irish Lions' triumphant third test against Australia. Domestically, Ospreys snagged 4 league titles, Scarlets grabbed 2, and Cardiff won 2 European Challenge Cups. That's the second-tier European competition. For those starting out, imagine it as the playoffs for continental contenders. But fast forward to now, and it's a different story. An unprecedented 18-match losing streak, 644 days without a win, a slide to 14th in world rankings, and just 2 Welsh Lions picks this summer. No Welsh team has lifted a league title since 2017, and only Scarlets reached Champions Cup quarters in the last 13 years. The Champions Cup is rugby's elite European tournament, like the Premier League of cross-continental clashes. It's a stark reminder that even champions can stumble. But here's the twist. Is this slump just a rough patch, or a sign that the regional system needs a complete rethink? And this is the part most people miss: the potential ripple effects on local economies and community pride tied to these teams. So, how did we reach this pivotal moment? Back in July, the WRU declared the current setup broken, calling for a major shakeup after their men's team hit rock bottom, that same 18-match skid and a drop to 12th in rankings. The 4 regions, Scarlets, Ospreys, Dragons, and Cardiff, have struggled in the United Rugby Championship, a high-stakes league involving teams from Wales, Ireland, Italy, and South Africa, and European Cups. Talks for a new funding deal hit snags. Cardiff plunged into temporary administration, while Scarlets and Ospreys balked at signing due to unresolved issues. Only Cardiff and Dragons inked the deal, prompting the WRU to rethink equal funding for all 4. For newcomers to the sport, administration is like a team's financial timeout, a period where debts are sorted out to avoid collapse. It's a tense situation that highlights how intertwined rugby is with business in Wales. But here's where it gets controversial. Some argue this administration is a symptom of mismanagement, while others see it as a wake-up call for smarter investments. What side are you on, necessary pruning or unfair targeting? As the rugby world held its breath, media outlets flocked to the Principality Stadium for a high-profile WRU press conference. Among the speakers were Chairman Richard Collier-Keywood and Director of Rugby and Head of Performance Dave Reddin. With 4 chairs on stage, speculation ran wild. Who else might join the conversation? It felt like the calm before the storm, a reminder that rugby decisions in Wales are anything but private affairs. After months of consultations, debates, and nail-biting uncertainty, the WRU has chosen a compromise. Stick with 4 professional teams for the short term, then trim to 3 by 2028. They've left the evaluation process open-ended, hoping for cooperation, before resorting to a competitive tender system. Earlier proposals from August included options, like 3 equally funded men's teams, scrapping 1, a trio with unequal funding, or even the boldest move, halving to just 2 teams. But they've backed away from that extreme, opting instead for a 4-to-3 reduction. For context, a tender system is like bidding for a contract, where regions compete to prove they are the best fit for funding. This approach aims to foster unity, but critics wonder if it masks deeper divisions. And this is the part most people miss: how regional rivalries, like those between East, West, and Central Wales, could intensify with fewer teams. Unsurprisingly, the 4 regions aren't thrilled about potential cuts. Dragons, rooted in Newport, insist elite rugby must endure in Gwent, a southeast Wales area that once boasted 5 top-tier squads. Imagine the loss if that legacy fades. Ospreys, Swansea, and Scarlets, Llanelli, had already skipped the funding deal, fueling the push for change. Ospreys are eyeing a shiny new stadium for the 2026-27 season, while Scarlets recently attracted fresh investors, framing the WRU's ideas as barriers to growth and recruitment. They vow to collaborate, but prioritize their club's future. Cardiff, now WRU-owned post-administration, adds another layer to the puzzle. It's a classic case of regional pride clashing with governing body ambitions. But here's where it gets controversial. Are smaller regions like Dragons just holding back progress? Or are they the heartbeat of grassroots passion? Would you defend keeping all 4 teams, even if it means spreading resources thin? In the end, Welsh Rugby will maintain 4 professional sides for now, but the plan is clear. Down to 3 equally funded teams by 2028, 1 each in the East, West, and Cardiff. This shifts from earlier talks of slashing to 2. Stay tuned for updates and expert takes as this unfolds. So, what's your take on all this? Do you see the WRU's gradual approach as wise compromise, or a cop-out that delays tough choices? Is prioritizing men's rugby at the expense of women's growth fair, or should they intertwine? And could cutting a region truly revive Wales' global standing, or will it just fracture loyal fan bases? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's debate if rugby's future in Wales is about bold reinvention or honoring its storied past.